What's up, kids? Smoking Tire Podcast. How y'all doing? Before we get into this one, we got to talk about a couple quick things. How about Continental belts? You've heard about them on this show for a couple of weeks now. We are happy to have them. Think of all the weird things you can find in cars, and I'm not talking your garden variety, petrified French fries, or your melted crayons. I'm talking about live snakes, bizarre trinkets, the kind of stuff that makes you wonder about, folks. Another thing that'll make you wonder, but in a good way, are Continental belts. Bet you didn't know they're OE in tens of millions of Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, and GM vehicles that roll off the assembly line. They're also OE on the majority of BMWs and Volkswagens. Now, Continental is launching the aftermarket multi-V belt with the OE pedigree. It's their OE Technology series. Belts that are fanatically engineered for perfect fit, form, and function. And Continental has an OE Technology series multi-V belt for 98% of the vehicles on the road in the US and Canada. Hey, you get enough surprises working on cars and trucks, a belt should not be one of them. Go with the Continental OE Technology Series Multi-V Belt, the belt with the OE pedigree. To get the full story, visit oetechnologyseries.com. That's oetechnologyseries.com. Oh man, how about this? Right now, I am drinking a delicious cup of Beeline coffee, but not any Beeline coffee. This one's got my name on it, folks. The Roasted Tire 2.0 is the result of a collaboration between yours truly and Beeline Coffee. I love their coffees, but I've been working back and forth with Beeline for like over a year now, I think. And this is the second generation of the Roasted Tire. You can tell the difference on the label because the first version had my Mustang on it. The next version has my Safari 911 on it. This one is from Honduras. It's a very high altitude blended roast. It's a medium medium roast with a medium to full body. Sort of a light medium roast with a medium to full body, if I'm honest. But like, I love coffee, and this coffee is so delicious. It's amazing. Code TST at beelinecoffee.com will get you 15% off anything in the store. Anything at all. 15% off. Using that code TST. Check out the Roasted Tire 2.0. Check out the espresso blends. There are other blends like the Weiss Watch Company blend. I think there's a Turner Motorsports blend. It's like all of our friends get a blend. It's great. But mine is my favorite. BeelineCoffee.com. And stay tuned at the end of this show, the last few minutes, to check out some discussion about the awesome news in the collector car world from our friends at Haggerty. And now, this is going to be a really good episode. We are sitting down with Savage Geese. His real name is Mark, but he goes by Savage Geese on the internet. He's an automotive journalist. He has his own sort of unique style, gets into some of the nitty-gritty. I like this dude a lot. He's very opinionated. He's not weighed down by sponsors. I like it. He's got some real interesting thoughts. We don't agree on everything, but I've enjoyed spending time with him, and this is a great podcast. Savage Geese on the Smoking Tire Podcast. 3, 2, 1. Smoking Tire Podcast. That's how you start it. That's it. You just say Smoking Tire Podcast. And then here we are. Hola, folks. It's been a while since we had a full house. Zach's back from his ventures.
Yep. You're back from your venture.
Senor Savage Geese, a.k.a. Mark. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon.
Guten Afternoon. We had a good morning.
Yes, it was the best you could possibly imagine.
We had a good quality California morning.
Traffic and
The traffic. You got to experience in one morning what a smidgen of my life looks like.
Yeah.
The highs and then the lows.
Yep.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it's a sales pitch for California, that's
right?
for sure.
We spent all morning, you get up early, you hit the freeway, get out of town before anyone's there. You fucking mob. You sit and you do your little beauty shots while the morning traffic people go by in the canyons. Mm-hmm. Then they're gone. Then you fucking mob for a while, and then that traffic home, that Angeles Crest to Venice fucking traffic home.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what time it is.
Doesn't matter what time it is.
Someone's always fucking up.
Doesn't matter.
Someone's always fucking up.
and then you're just like, you need a nap. You're just exhausted.
I needed a nap. I didn't even do anything. Drooling.
What I did one takes yesterday, and it's like great mood. I'm like, this is so much fun, and then I get in the traffic, and it's just going 2 miles an hour. It's noon. I'm like, someone's a fucking moron up there.
Yep.
That's someone up there texted, didn't look, whatever. It's bright. You have full visibility. We're going 10, and someone fucked up.
Yeah, and it's always that the Angeles Crest to West LA traffic midday is always. But good news is, fucking McLaren is really not so bad in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
They have really built a nice car. Those guys.
Yeah.
We spent all morning on that. We'll get to that because we spent a few hours. I did the math. We drove about 200 miles this morning.
Wow.
That didn't feel like it,
How
right?
many miles did you drive before that tank evaporated?
Fuck. We went through an entire tank in it goes through gas when you're on it. You know?
Yeah, it should. I mean, it makes sense.
You can't make like 800 horsepower without without burning a lot of fuel. Like, the math isn't there, especially at 5,000 feet. Remember that? The fucking car's so fast. You go, oh wait, this is 5,000 feet fast. God.
Yeah, and then he dropped me off to do some video work, and he dropped me off by like the porta potty or outhouse, and I made the mistake of going in there, and that's what I remember about 5,000 feet. So like 5,000 corpses in there.
Oh my god,
it was horrendous.
It's all right, flies in your ass.
I thought I was doing you a favor, but I guess
you
not.
did.
I guess not. Better than a shrub. Fucking good to have you here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me out.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I like when I say like, come out to LA and hang out, and then people actually do it.
Well, it's a lot easier now for me to come out here and witness the glory.
He quit his day job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, technically it's not quit, but it's separated.
Sabbatical?
Yes.
What's
we're not
what's the
divorced.
word that won't fucking nullify your agreement?
I don't know, and I don't even want to test that. But let's just say that I don't have a corporate job anymore, and now I'm living the internet glory.
But but you're in like month 2, so it's truly glorious.
It is. I wake up and I don't feel the stress of having to deal with some half-ass bullshit nonsense every day or getting called. I take that back. Every vacation I took, I'd get a call from work, and this is my first kind of vacation, and I got a text from my old boss from work just to break
Saying
it up.
What's up?
Just send him a picture of McLaren. And
Yeah, that's right. I got to do that.
Middle finger, like,
Yeah.
call you later, brah.
Yep, exactly.
Or you just send him the video I put up of the guy on the bird in the fucking.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
dude. We went to the Venice Escape. Play that to me. Yesterday, we went to I was like showing him around Venice, and I was like, "What is the most Venice thing we can do? Go to the skate park, and here's the dude on the fucking bird." He actually had a nice little flow happening.
It looks like it's not his first time, so he's like, I got this. Let's go around one of these things and fuck around.
But the light was very
hilarious.
nice. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good Venice skate park light.
Skateboard.
You know what's amazing about
Plus,
this?
that guy looks cool. He looks like he's just doing laps and seeing who's gonna fuck in about a half an hour.
Yeah, you won't make fun of him because
These
then he'll fuck
dudes
your girlfriend.
even make me hot, for him. But yeah, I mean, what's weird about these things? I had no idea what they were. I just thought it was a bunch of douches on scooters, and then this guy's like, "Oh no, people just dump them, and you scan it in with an app, and you can just take them wherever and leave them when you're done." It's like Grand Theft Auto.
I had to blow his mind that it actually is like real Grand Theft Auto.
I can't believe it. So today I got on a bird the first time, and I rode it.
And
I rode it all the way to DK's Donuts.
I don't even know where that is.
I don't know what DK's Donuts is.
Where is
so
Yeah, what is that?
this was like 3 miles on a bird that I traveled with. This.
That's
16th in Santa Monica.
That's like
pretty
18 miles in
pretty
human
far.
in dog years or something.
It
you
is.
know?
It's crazy. But some lady that cut my hair yesterday here, I'm like, yo, what's the dessert situation? And she looked like she's had a few desserts, but in a good way.
She's like, you're
You
in
look
LA.
like you know
we have all
where to get some
situations
donuts.
here.
She's like DK Donuts. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm going. So
Well,
here
LA
it is.
has an interesting culinary history in that we don't really have much of our own history, but like donuts are an LA pastime, so I'm not surprised.
Are they really?
Yeah.
You're not just making that up.
No, I swear to God. Tim's lived in LA for longer than me. Do you know where the history of the donut in LA?
I do not know, but it's fuck. Now I'm blanking. What's
like a lot of
what's
Koreans.
What's the glazed one though?
A glazed donut?
Yeah, but the company. Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
Okay.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme.
Well, I mean, like Randy's Donuts is famous, and it's featured like the opening of the
Remember the
Simpsons
one in
is basically
Iron Man?
Randy's Donuts.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I've been to this place. This place has like Oreos on top
this
and all
shit
kinds
is
of
Oh,
off
it
the
really
chain.
is. This
It-
like
this
a
is-
voodoo donut
Yeah.
style
This
thing.
is elite. So I know Lieberman brought you booze. I don't know what the gift situation is. I brought you donuts from Bird.
There's no necessary gifts, but I mean, if you fucking rode on a Bird,
I
and
did.
More importantly, you rode back with that.
Yes. You don't know how hard that
That's
was,
like a
man.
sale. For
Sketch.
those who are on listening only, it's a shopping bag full of donuts, but it's fundamentally a sale.
That's like stand on a pogo stick and hold a swimming pool, like a kid's one that's half full of water.
Yeah, and to get back to his hotel from where that place is, he'd have to ride directly into the wind.
Yeah, I did. I got amazing
Jesus.
battery life though on that thing. Let me tell you. But I don't know what they look like after that ride. So
Oh,
I
I
made
can't
it, but I
wait.
didn't open it.
You know, it's actually my fiance. Her family has shtick that goes back generations, and it just the same jokes, just over and over. Fucking drill these jokes. One of their jokes is on your birthday, they mail you a cake. Like they go to a bakery and get you an awesome cake, take a picture of it, put it in a UPS box, and it comes to you. They don't tell UPS nothing. So you get you get a fucking destroyed cake in the
I
mail.
love it.
It's really, really funny.
very funny.
With the picture of what it used
You
to be.
should have
Nice.
seen my fucking dad's face when they sent him one.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Did he know that was a tradition, or did you have to explain? He's like,
I explained
Hannah
it to
sent
him.
me.
I explained it to him later that he didn't get it at first. Nobody warned him. It's very funny.
It's a good idea.
But I can't wait. It'll
Yeah.
fit right in with the shtick. But Hannah will be so happy if they're smashed.
And if you
She'll
don't
be
like it, you just throw the shit against the wall.
Hell yeah.
And then just comment on the internet, this guy's a dick.
Bro,
Bring
you know
me
what
donuts.
happens to the cake? You open that box and fucking all of it gets eaten.
Really? People still
immediately.
eat it?
Oh yes, it's very rare. I've seen 3 or 4 of them open, all eaten in that horrible state.
Cake, it's just gonna taste the same.
Yeah.
You know, every
Yeah.
bite of cake is just the layers go together.
Yeah, and you
immediately.
give no thought to like, oh, let's preserve the fucking little figure. You know, like who cares? It's gone.
Your wedding cake
me
should
a
just be a
hand.
bowl of cake.
Oh, man.
That'd be a great bowl of cake.
That's very funny. We should buy a wedding cake, like a fucking sick one, in California, and ship it to our wedding.
And then have a picture, a huge, like a 4x2 picture of it.
Oh
of like,
my
here's what it
God.
looked like. Who cares?
Yeah,
Hannah would
sitting
love
on the
to
thing,
do
just all
that.
fucked up with a
Dude,
picture
she'd want to
behind.
get one that's like 7 feet tall.
Have it annihilated.
So fucking funny. Oh my
Just
God.
throw it off a building into like a salad bowl.
The good news is you can take a picture of somebody else's expensive cake.
Hell yeah.
And then just mash some
That
shit
is
up.
the
in
better
there.
idea.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the financially smarter
Good
idea.
idea. The bait and switch.
Getty Images baller ass cake. Oh my God. But more importantly, fucking how did you find your bird experience?
You know what? I just was walking, and I was sitting down eating that burger place you told me. How was it? Hi Ho?
Oh,
or something?
yeah, Timmy told me about it, and then I passed it on.
Dude, I annihilated that shit. Like, I mean, it was gone in a half a second, and then I saw this dude dump off a bird. I'm like, now's my time. And as soon as I download the app, some guy came up and
That's
snatched
the
it.
problem with bird. Like I'll walk a block or 2 to get one, and it'll be fucking gone, or some guy will
broken.
be there when I get there. Like the other day, I had to walk like a whole giant circle to get one. It was
It's
really
weird. You
dumb,
can't,
but
you can't go. I'm gonna come get this, and then it gives you,
can't
5
like
minutes to
pre-lock
get
it.
it. Right.
Yeah. You should be like mine because
They should
someone
update that.
people would just like. I guess you could get kicked off the platform if you abused that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
like-
Just
do something
charge
like
you.
that.
Charge you from the time that you reserve it.
oh yeah, like start the meter.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom.
Totally.
There's your next app idea.
Yeah.
Updates. But I think it needs to authenticate via Bluetooth when you're in close proximity. That's why.
Oh, that's probably a good
Because
idea.
it pairs up with your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because sometimes you go and they've just dropped like 50 of them off, and
Yeah.
so like you can scan pretty much any of them. But like, what if you scan one that's got like no fucking battery compared to
Right.
the one you wanted?
Yeah.
But they're pretty fun to ride.
No, they are, dude. I was shocked. I mean, the novelty would wear off in like 2 days, but dude, I was balling. I was flat out with those donuts.
They get used around here a lot. I think it's a mix of tourists and people going to work and like going to lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of riding a bike or taking an Uber, there's
I have twice had the front wheel lock up on me.
Really?
Full.
Yeah, and like going along and it just, and like full speed running to not fall on your
Whoa.
fucking face.
Oh,
And I was
man.
like, one of you fuckers need to call me because I cut my leg this time.
Did you hit the thing?
What thing?
The thing that's like this one's fucked.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a thing in the
I didn't
app.
know
There's
there was a
this
thing
one's
that said
fucked
it's
one.
fucked, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the option.
I got a flat tire on the front, and I like pretty much like lost steering. Like you just see really hard to steer with a flat front tire. But I was like a half a mile or so from my house, and I was like, "Fuck it," and just sort of like mobbed it into my house, like
Nice.
understeering everywhere. But it's hilarious. Like we know down at the beach by where I'm at, like there's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So wild. Anyway, what about you? What is Savage Geese? What is that about? Because you're also Mark,
I am Mark. Yes, that's the real, my
real-
God-given name.
the real goose. What's up? Is it? I mean, geese are fucking savages.
I don't know. Honestly, when I came up with it, it was a while ago, probably over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up and I watched so many movies that kind of filmmaking or the idea of camera being using a camera was
Movies
what I
about
wanted
geese?
to do. Yeah, just all about geese. Like that was my passion.
Fly away home.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Traveling north.
Is that the Anna Paquin movie?
Yes.
I still haven't seen that. I need to.
With the fucking ducks,
I don't. I blew it.
bro.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No,
you didn't.
I hear it's award winning.
She leads in an ultralight. There's some engineering in. Yeah, she's got to get ducks home, and so she builds. Her and her dad
Your
build
brain.
ultralight aircraft. I fucking know her.
Fucking weird.
They build aircraft and fucking paint them to look like big ducks, and they lead a flock of ducks.
That sounds like a movie that I got to see.
You got to see it.
First-
I saw it when I was 11.
Okay, so well, it's gonna hit home now, probably as an
No,
adult.
it holds up. It holds up.
Wait, so it was just a funny
my
thing.
grandma used to scare me not to touch the geese when I was like 5 years old, and we'd walk to the bus stop in traffic, so she'd associate geese danger with car danger, and she called the geese savages all the time. So I'm like, well, you know what, savage geese, whatever.
That's funny.
Thanks, Grandma.
That's funny. That's like Pearl Jam. That's
I
like,
don't know the story of
And we're
Pearl.
sure there
It's
wasn't
Eddie's,
like
Eddie's grandmother or
Oh, that's-
something made her name was Pearl, and she made jelly, and it was Pearl's Jam. And
No shit.
Yeah, that's where Pearl Jam comes
Wow.
never would have thought of that at all.
from. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, now you know that's a little bit more meaningful than savage geese, but
No, Savage Geese is good.
And
So
we're-
is
that's-
grandma.
You're sure there wasn't like a certain population of people at the bus stop always standing behind geese, and she's like, "Watch out for those savages."
yeah,
Oh,
you know, she was not. Yeah, I'm not even gonna repeat some of the stuff she said, but yeah, she was a little feisty.
That's
so
so.
now her legacy is car videos.
That's very
Or
good.
like, that's great.
That's crazy. So what made you? So you got into filmmaking really before you decided to focus it on cars?
I wanted to, and I realized at a young age, I live in Illinois. Who the hell am I? I'm never gonna do that as a real job. I'll never make money, and I didn't want to be poor. So I got into I got into tech, and it just made sense. I was good at troubleshooting, all of that, and after doing that for a while, I'm like, okay, this sucks. I really want to do what I want to do, and I got back into the video stuff. Me and Scott, who's in all my videos, he's a mechanic. He's an amazing driver, and we just started making stupid car videos on this FRS I had, which I ruined. And
How long ago? When was that?
that was like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Okay.
And that was just for us. And then I'm like, you know what? I should do this for real. And I just took the filmmaking edge into car videos, which I love cars. I love filmmaking. And then I had to try to balance a real job with that, which became impossible.
Yeah, no shit.
Now I don't have that. I don't have that
Now you don't have
problem.
that problem
now I'm just a
anymore.
lazy piece of shit that makes car videos. So
Bro, we're all lazy pieces of shit. We're all trying to get as close to being lazy pieces of shit as we can, and still have the line
The only
go up.
reason I have to wear pants is because that camera can see my legs.
oh, okay.
So
Very
funny.
close.
I really considered mesh shorts for the show. It's like the fucking table's blocking it. Who gives a shit?
Right, yeah.
But Zach, you did change shirts though.
I did change shirts. We can talk about that later. Your videos though, the filmmaking thing shows. Like I watched your Focus RS video, and like the intro is very pretty. Nice light, all that stuff, and there's like music under it, some tension going on. It's not just like a quick short thing.
I do put a lot of effort into it, more than I probably should. The payoff's not there for the effort, but I'm not doing it for the payoff. I never have. It's more about
Standards.
I don't know. I don't even know if it's about standards. It's like I want to see how far I can push myself to do something on my own, because it's really a solo show. So making music, the editing, all of that
You
work.
make the music?
I do everything. So it's a
Whoa.
lot of work. It's a ton of work, but I like it. So if I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. So I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
People seem to like the effort,
Of course they do. They always like the effort.
Yeah.
They always like the effort. It's just, to what degree will they be willing to support the extra effort,
Right. Well, there's Patreon supporters that really subsidize most of it.
Oh, really?
And those people really, I mean, they're dead serious. They appreciate what I do. So that gives you more ambition to like, hey, okay,
Right.
I'm not just going to get burned out here in the 105-degree pavement, spending 40 minutes on like exterior shots just to the front half of the car. They give me the incentive to do it.
Well, that's helpful. I'm sorry if this is going to go a little inside baseball for some of the listeners, but like I'm genuinely curious as a creator, ad revenue, YouTube revenue versus Patreon. Have you found that like the audience in general is cool with the Patreon thing and that the actual patrons are making it like super worthwhile?
Yes. So when I didn't want to do Patreon, I don't say like my videos. I don't say subscribe.
You don't say comment, and subscribe?
No, I'm too old for that. Maybe too old. Or I just don't like it. So I never did it. But people are like, dude, you got to do a Patreon. You got to do a Patreon. I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to take your money. I make enough money in my real job. It's just not worth it. But I did it. And I couldn't believe how many people came out to do it because they believed in the kind of the honesty. There was no bullshit.
Yeah.
And some of the work, they could tell it wasn't like some of the generic stuff that was out there. And, we've seen a bunch of that stuff. And
I create a bunch of generic work.
yeah, but the thing is you've been doing this forever.
But I created generic
first.
work first. That's what's really important. No, yeah, but I'm glad that has worked out. That actually gives me some confidence. Maybe we could do something like that down the road. I mean,
Go back to long form.
Well, it worked for Chris Harris and Neil.
Yeah,
Dude, when Chris told me what they were actually making off of Patreon, I was fucking shocked. It was a strong number.
I'm sure.
Only interrupted by Top Gear. Like, they would have been happy to continue doing that because it was like, for what, I think it was, 4 videos a month or something?
Mm-hmm. Well, they have a very good system. I mean, they're really good at getting they have their format, their style of video, and they can get it in a day. They can get it in like 4 hours if they have to. And they know they've kind of built the brand on that aesthetic, and that's what they do.
Well, we could do that too.
For sure. Oh,
for sure. I'm
used
sure
to do
you
it.
could. What does your production schedule look like when you go make a video?
So the last one I just did, which I shot, was the Mazda 6 Turbo.
Fucking exciting.
But you know what though?
Nice car, I bet.
Let's not even talk about the car. For whatever reason, people love Mazdas on my channel. It's because I owned one, maybe, I don't know. But there is such a following for those cars, so I spent extra time on this Mazda 6. Now, it's a good car, don't get me wrong, but I spent more time on it because I know I'm going to have more people to view it. I just did a Skyline before that, the R32.
They're fucking great, aren't they?
It's a great car, and I thought, okay, a lot of people are going to like this, so I traveled for this one, spent like $500 or $450 in travel, and like nobody watched the fucking video.
That's such a bummer.
Wow.
I've been bitten in the ass so many times like that. It sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason for some of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, usually 3 days, exterior, the commentary, so it's really like 3 days total to do a whole video.
That's a lot of work, my
It is.
friend.
But you have for people that haven't watched it, like your video that I watched, 2 of them was like 30 minutes long, and you had basically like an intro beauty shot component, and then a little bit of road driving. Then you went to the quick track bit with the Focus. Then you went to the shop with Scott to talk about how it's built. Right. Like, it's everything you could learn about a car, all in one video. We don't cover like the oil cooling abilities of this manifold on a Focus because that's just not what we do. But
Right.
like you guys kind of, whatever you need to learn about a car, you can probably go to your channel and watch it.
And that's one of the things I really like, and I talked to you about this. It's, for me, I'm not emotionally attached to cars. I've never been. I'm emotionally attached to driving. So I like that, but I also love learning. That's the best part about all this stuff to me, is learning about each car. And if I don't learn anything, I lose interest. So like the McLaren, the 570 that I did.
What am that was a truck? Oh, sorry. I
No, it's
apologize.
okay.
I thought I just
place
thought our
is blowing
system
up.
was about to crash. It was like, what the fuck is going on over here? Shit. All right. I'm sorry.
No,
dude.
it's fine. I mean, if you're going to watch one video, it's the 570, because I'm in the McLaren, shop. we took apart most of the car, the under trays, to look at every single component. You can see how the oil pump works. You can see all this stuff, and it's really, that's what kind of gets me, to see all that and to explain it. But again, nobody watches that video. You know, it's like the more technical, the more documentary style I get, it's like, people don't care.
Well, it's hard
I just did 4 track days. Like I took this Lotus Evora 400 and went to 4 racetracks and like narrated laps and the whole thing, like telemetry and whatever.
Yeah.
Like crash and fucking burn.
Yep.
Nothing.
What people want to see is you sliding around the track in a car that's not meant to slide.
They want to see me driving some fucking random dude's 800 horsepower BMW in the fucking canyons.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like, what did you make build the market doing? Like Engineering Explained, that's all he did. He does super nerdy and one, nice guy, 2, good content. I've learned a lot from that channel. But that's like, he's like, here's what we do, that's what we do. So everyone who goes there, that's what they're expecting. Right. So if you do a curveball where it's a way more in-depth video than people are used to, they go, this might be a little bit too nerdy for me.
Yeah, and that's the danger, because you start to appeal to only that small group.
Yeah.
And again, it's about, we talked about this today. You know, you lose interest and you feel like you're wasting your time with something. You don't want to do it any longer. So for me, I'm looking at it right now as, if I don't do what I want to do, because this is the point in my life where, hey, you know what, this is what I want to do, and if I'm not true to myself with it, making the video, spending the time, if I'm just chasing numbers, then I'm going to quit this. Mm-hmm. I just don't care about it at this point. But eventually, maybe I'll be like, I'm tired of wasting 4 days of my life for something that makes me $100. You know, I could work at McDonald's and be happier doing that, honestly. So I'm not there yet. I don't know what the end game is, and I say this a lot. But I do like the technical, and I do like the filmmaking aspect or video making.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably add some. Because I haven't read a ton of your writing. I read some of your like little short stuff that you did for the drive. But like, you could probably add some long form writing in there and probably supplement it all. I mean, you seem to have found a way to like, with the B-roll stuff, like sort of double dip each car. Like maybe you could triple dip. Maybe you get some stills, quadruple dip. You know, you can. There is you can squeeze that lemon pretty tight, but it is definitely a struggle to because doing anything takes time and therefore money.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and in an on-demand, world, it's really, really hard to get anyone to give a shit about the minutiae.
You're right.
Especially if it's not like, I don't know. There isn't an especially if it's not. Sorry.
Well, you may find that you have 2 styles of video. You got like your normal standard thing you do that your audience likes, and then if you do a way more in-depth one about the tech, call it something else, name it a different playlist, call it a different show if you want to. It's put on the same channel, and like it'll be small at first, but it may grow. And kind of the same way when we have people that come up for one takes and they go find a video from 2012 and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Right, yeah.
Like, what's all this B-roll?
Yeah.
Like, why is there voiceover? Where's a one take? And you're like, that's what we used to do. Yeah. So you can just have both shows, and the audience is totally divided, but you've got 2 different markets.
Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, what sells. The YouTube world is really easy. It's almost sad. Like, I just did this video on the worst driving behaviors or whatever. I just knew it was going to have a ton of views. It's like real generic list stuff, which, everybody hates and everybody loves. And
your center card is way too
everyone
simple.
complains about, and it makes you a fuckload of money.
Right.
That's how I would describe that video.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could do that. You can have the girl, my best friend Jack, or one of my best friends Jack, and his girlfriend Karen. They help with videos when they come out here, and they're great. And I always joke around with Karen. She's going to be going into medical school. He's an engineer. I'm like, well, Karen, we'll just put you in a bikini, put you in the thumbnail of the video. Done. Instant, 500,000 views on some junk.
5 ways to lower your blood pressure. She could have a medical channel, but it's just like bikini. Everyone's like, I got to learn some of this stuff.
Yep.
Dude, you just put a bikini chick in a car and start doing pulls.
Yeah, that's it.
Remember, was it YouTube 08-ish? When it was just, everything was turbo Lambos, turbo
Corvettes, something Corvettes. Was that a Corvette? That sounded like an automatic Challenger.
V6
is what I would give that. No, it sounded
more like that. Challenger Charger.
Yeah, it was not a good.
No,
but the automatic
V6,
is not good.
What I tweeted the other day, I've heard a lot of uncorked, no mufflered, straight pipe V6 automatic Challengers lately, and they sound like shit. They sound bad, and they hurt your ears.
Yesterday, I was up at the top of the Snake, and there was a V6 Camaro went by, and then a Infiniti G37. Camaro sounded better.
Really?
Yeah.
The VQ's not good.
The VQ is rougher.
It's really bad.
So now that you got no jobby job anymore, full fucking time, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love when that happens.
It's amazing. It really is. It lifts. There's such a weight lifted off when you know you don't have to do something. Now, it's funny because you can't just say, "Oh, quit your job and do some bullshit." You kind of have to have a plan with it. And I don't say that my plan's good, but I'm financially
but it's a
okay.
plan.
Yeah, I'm not starving. I can pay all my stuff. I still have, perks. I can come out here and, dick around with Matt. And
yeah. And I told him that we could put him together, a nice little filming trip out here too. It'd be very, very easy.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge with being fully independent is going to be in Chicago. Yep. The winter's going to fucking hammer you down, man. You got to figure it out.
I mean, you can just stack up. How many?
Stack them deep.
Stack your videos deep, I guess. I
do one a week with reviews, and I have to supplement it with something else. But typically, it's one a week, even in the winter.
Wow, yeah, you're gonna have to. That's some stacking.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like my busy season for my job is like ramps up in March, and then April, May, June, July, August is like full throttle, gone like 2 weeks out of the month, and but whatever. If you did something like that, you could easily shoot like 100 cars. If you you do 2 or 3 days per car. Shit. Sorry,
crazy.
you need 52 cars.
You don't need to like sleep ever because no.
No, but like do that. If you take 2 to 3 days to shoot a car, if you do 50 cars, 150 days, that's half the year. It's less than half the year, and you can just stack it like that.
Yeah,
but you have to arrange.
I think you could do a live I think you could do a live show, like while shooting the video for, the shop, because you'll have internet there.
Yeah.
You could combine that and do a Q&A, like tech show kind of thing.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
That's a good idea.
And it's fun. I started doing that this past couple weeks with, I have another video coming out with Scott and Tom. They're both mechanics, and, they're salty as hell. I mean, they've lived and breathed this crap, and they're just done. But it's hilarious because it's like, they're not in the industry per se, but you ask them flat out, what's the worst car? And they'll just tell you. They don't care, and it's funny. And it's funny as a viewer to hear it. Now, I'm sure manufacturers aren't going to like to hear that, but, whatever. Some of it's deserved. And I think that's why people like, it's not a big following, but the people that watch it really appreciate some of the honesty.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Because it's rare.
It is. And there's a fine line with all of it that you have to straddle, but.
Nah, if you're not like an asshole, I mean, you can criticize almost anything.
The way you word it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be, if you're not like vindictive about it, you can say almost anything.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like, if you're super real about it and you tell, the people too, like I've called press folks and been like, listen, this thing is fucking weird, homie.
Yeah.
Like I've given kill options a couple times. I had a kill option taken recently.
Really?
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it. It doesn't matter what it is, but after the show, when we're at dinner, I'll tell you about the recent kill option, but we ain't broadcasting it.
Okay.
That's the point of the kill option. but when it's like, I cannot find one nice thing to say. Not one.
Right. and there are some like that, and it's just, what, and that comes back to the viewer base. Are you loyal to the viewer base? Are you loyal to the people you're getting the cars from? And that's where it gets slippery. I look at from a buyer perspective, some of these cars, there are serious money, dude. 50, 60 grand is a lot of money for people. And if there's serious problems with the 56 grand, that type of car, I'm going to say it. It's just unacceptable to me,
Have you found serious problems in a $60,000 car recently?
Yeah.
Like what?
The Volvos. I had the XC60, whatever the hell it is, the T8 friggin' all-wheel drive.
The hybrid one with like everything?
Yeah, and it's, rear-wheel drive electronically without a drive shaft. The thing was just, honestly, it was not right. It should not be released to the public. It's a beta car. And I said it nicely, and I told I told Drive Shop, and they're like, Volvo's probably not going to want to hear it, whatever. But it's true. And if you're not saying this stuff, how are the manufacturers going to know? And two, how are the people going to know? I'm not saying don't buy it, but go drive it and see if it drives you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it just drove weird?
There were times where the transmission it's like almost slips. There's a disconnect between the front and the rear where you'll feel the rear kick in and then it turns off and it's like understeer wheel spin in the front. Weird stuff that you wouldn't expect.
That's
but
real weird.
The programming was off. And then I find out that a lot of these vehicles were in for multiple check engine lights, which I had, multiple drivetrain faults, like all this stuff. Then they reprogrammed different ECU reflashes, like a lot of it. So they were trying to figure it out, but you're still getting in a press fleet. So
yeah, weird. I don't know. I say weird. Meanwhile, I was just in Europe for our trip. We just showed the Nürburgring video, and I rented an XC90. Because there was 3 dudes all well over 6 feet, and I was like, what is the most comfortable thing we can rent for this? And it was comfortable and all that. It drove weird as hell. Just weird, like strange steering, strange brakes, like wheezy, and it was weird.
Yeah.
And I know it's like safe and all that, and it was like quote nice, but I didn't like how it drove at all. It drove really strange.
Is that the twin charge one?
No, this one was the T5.
Okay.
It was not an appropriate engine for a 4,000-pound vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like horrible. Actually, all right. So I don't want to shit on it in an undue fashion. I went down the unlimited sections of the Autobahn at 175 kilometers an hour without any trouble whatsoever. So there's that, okay? So I was like a sustained, that's like what, 115, 120, something like that? 115, give or take? No problem there. But for a heavy car, as we talked about earlier, a high-strung 5-cylinder twin-charged, turbocharged, twin-charged, whatever the fuck it is, I think it might have just been turbocharged, is not like a refined engine for a big luxury vehicle. A V8 that doesn't have to work very hard is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is that we talked about this today when on the road. We saw a Volvo, and I'm like, I don't care what they do to it, to the interior, exterior. You have a 4-cylinder with, they take this generic 4-cylinder and throw on a supercharger, turbocharger, hybridization. It just doesn't replace a V6 or a V8 in a luxury car, and I just can't get over it, especially when you start looking at that price point.
It seems like it's like built to go, okay, for the London tax and for the this tax and to avoid this
totally
tax
is,
and
of course.
all those things. Whereas like in real world conditions, the older style engine isn't actually that much less efficient.
It's a weird thing because, 4-cylinder turbos now are so powerful, like Focus RS is an example. But, once you're in one of these luxury vehicles and you're up to highway speed, like pretty much anything could be in the front and who cares? And I wonder if that's where they think most of the people are spending their time. Like, will it get you onto the highway at an appropriate speed? Yes, it'll accelerate good, and then you sit there and now you can say you make X miles per gallon.
Yeah.
And it suits cafe standards and all that other stuff.
Well,
but
and also the traffic. I mean, I've been driving him around for 2 fucking days now, and with the exception of our mountain excursion this morning, 100% of it has been at less than 30 miles an hour.
Right.
So maybe they're saying in the condensation of the areas where these luxury cars are being sold, the average traveling speeds are going down and down and down because they're more condensed. So
I'm sure that's a great point. I bet that's a big part of it.
Well, here's something for you. And I brought up the Mazda 6, and they just put a turbo in this thing. And I said in the CX-9 that if they put a turbo in this Mazda 3 or the Mazda 6, it's going to be garbage, because how do you put all that torque? Because it's got 310 pounds of torque to a front-wheel drive that wasn't, really designed for it. So they made all these suspension changes, and it kind of works. But when I was driving it, I wanted to make a video about this topic. Is all these Eco 4-poppers with turbos, they all have this new trend is, let's give you all the torque, all the horsepower, or well, not all the horsepower, but all the torque right away, and then it falls flat on its face. So I noticed driving these cars, you can't drive them aggressively turning from a stop. So now it's like, I'm going to tear the wheels off the front of the car, and then after that, it's like, okay, now I'm going to putt around. I don't understand why this is such a big trend, why you can't have the power more linear, why you can't just spread the torque band off. And every manufacturer says, well, people only drive up to like 3,000 RPMs. But if you're shredding the tires off and it's like this huge surge, it just drivability-wise, it doesn't feel right to me.
It's so weird. I think it's what like the quote average driver refers to as pep.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like a sharp throttle response and like a woo from the light.
Especially because, like you said, people only drive up to 3,000 RPM, maybe 4. And if they get in their test drive and they take it up to 3, and they're like, "Ooh, it's a 4-cylinder. I had a 6. I really like the power." And then it's like, "Well, here it goes." We know how high you're going to turn this volume up. So let's make it actually go, it's at 12, but you're at 4. And they go, ooh, this is actually really quick. Okay.
Now, the good news is, for those who are interested in modifying cars, like the Focus RS is a good example. If you do, like, I'm pretty sure this isn't like a surprise to anybody or confidential, but Mountain Tune has a development car with a bigger turbo on it. Excuse me, but that moves the power band upward more to what you would think is normal for a 4-cylinder car, while also making a fuck ton extra power.
Right.
Because they really use an undersized turbo for the regular Focus RS. So they have one that, and don't anyone quote me on this, because call Mountain Tune if you're interested. I thought the number was 500 at the crank. That's what they said. They said 500 horsepower.
That seems crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know what their actual production, like, pump gas numbers are or whatever. But they said, I said, is it laggy? And they're like, no, because the regular car has this surge at 2, and so you just move the surge at 2 to the surge at 3.
Yeah,
and it's like it feels like normal again.
See, that makes sense. I mean, the RS is kind of an extreme example because that's more of a performance platform. Same thing with the Type R, the new F20, whatever it is, and. If you look at like the eco turbo cars that are not like that it seems like the engineers spent like 5 minutes tuning them. Like the Hyundai Kia 4-poppers, you hit the gas, all it does.
The fucking rev hang?
The rev hang. And they make the excuse how it's for emissions, and then you hit the gas, it just spins the tires, and then the traction control comes on, and the power's gone.
Yeah.
Like Mazda, everything is smooth, but all the power's cut. And that's why I didn't like the Focus RS from the factory. You feel is electronic interference, because that's the only way they can have this type of power and torque controlled to the front wheels and to the back in some cases. But everything feels electronically controlled and like handicapped now. And it hurts the drivability. And I guess that's my point, is they're like, oh, it's so much better for the regular person, but the cars are worse for it because they have to alter everything to make it kind of work together.
You know who said that?
Who?
Minnie Driver.
Really?
Yesterday.
Oh, Minnie, give me a call. We'll talk cars.
I met Minnie Driver at Bill's yesterday. She was looking at the McLaren, and she was complaining that she used to drive BMWs, but the traction control systems are too invasive and they're too heavy.
No way.
And now she likes to go out in her boyfriend's 964 Andile Turbo and drive that. And I was like, she was very, very lovely.
That is cool.
And I was like, Are you actually Minnie Driver? Because you're talking to me about traction control systems.
But her last name,
awesome.
She's got a lot to live up to.
Shout the fuck out. Yeah, true that, right?
Didn't think
her
about
name is
that.
Driver. Why is anyone surprised? But yeah, it's all fighting weight. All of it is, the big wheels for the big brakes, and the base and the low profile tires for the big wheels, and the stiff suspensions for this, and all of it is just fighting weight. That's why the McLaren
is amazing.
Great. It's so fucking good. It's like the Ford GT is like, we made a race car and we're going to let you drive it on the street. This is like the more, just like the pinnacle of gasoline powered achievement.
Of road cars, yeah.
It's so fucking crazy. The car is so crazy. Like, you drive it at 3/4 throttle and it's like a 570S or a 570 GT, and then full throttle is a different, completely different level of power.
Jesus.
It's so fucking fast. It's really, really good. And it's comfortable.
It's everything that you want for a car that you can't afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very good.
You go, this thing's $340,000. It better deliver all the goods. Yep.
It does.
Feels
100%.
like it looks special, drives special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did everything work? Because we had one on a shoot recently that had some electronic funniness happening.
So yes, it worked. However,
Said with confidence.
yeah, there was a couple little I did a launch control, like a sort of, I don't know if it was quite a 1/4 mile, but it was like launch control on a straightaway in the canyons into like, fairly deep territory, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
And after I bailed out of it, it said service engine control module.
I don't remember.
It's on the video. Whatever it is, the whole thing is on the video. And I shut the car down and like reset it, and it stuck around for 20 seconds or so and then went away.
Okay.
So that was it. That's the only thing.
That's very different. Ours, at this shoot, someone parked it, turned it off. I got in it later, and the AC was on, but the car was off. Like AC fan on.
When I
blowing
get in
relatively cool air, which is weird.
Yeah. If it's off, and I walk up to it and get in it with the key in it, the vents turn on. But I think it's supposed to do that.
Okay.
I think that's weird, but I don't think that's broken.
You know what it might have been? Someone might have left the key in it, and it was parked because moving cameras
maybe.
and stuff. So I got in.
Yeah.
I thought it was just on, but the car was off. But if it's doing that to cool it down, then that makes sense.
I think it's kind of supposed to. It does get a little hot. It's got the Gorilla Glass roof. My dome got cooked. I had to extra sunscreen the dome because it really, in the California sun, it got really, really toasty on my head.
Okay.
I would not personally, like those glass panels, like they do make it feel very light and airy in there, but I don't think the cooking of my head is a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
Have you seen their advertising videos? It's always some dude with this pristine hairline, like it's and then you get guys like us who are just straight up like
the actual customer
baloney spots. It
That
just
was,
gets
that was
cooked.
one of Clarkson's old things against convertibles. He's like, there you can see a bold spot.
Tim, bring up that picture in the middle there of the side profile. So what I do like about the car is the windshield goes up really high relative to the roof.
Yeah.
Like the Lotus Evora 400, which was a third of the price, but nevertheless, in terms of just talking about seating positions and driving positions, because this car has a really small cockpit that feels so big. And I think one of the reasons it's so great for tall drivers is like I can stretch my legs fully straight in that car, and when the steering wheel has a lot of adjustment, telescoping, and up and down, it's great. So I get my legs straight, and then I get the steering wheel really close to me. And when I sit straight up, because I like my seat pretty vertical, I don't have to hunch down. I don't have to do the crunch to see under where the windshield meets the headliner. I can sit totally straight up and look straight forward out unobstructed. For a tall driver, this is, I think this is the best mid-engine supercar seating position I've tried for a tall driver.
Wow.
Because you don't ever have to do the hunch down, and you end up with your neck really hurting if you have to do that a lot.
And remember, we had the Viper a long time ago.
Yeah,
and that was like wearing a hat, like a double XL hat, like over your eyes.
Yeah, it's like driving a hoodie.
My eye line was at the front of the headliner instead of underneath it. And in the profile photo you shot, the roof meets the windshield behind the steering wheel. Actually,
right?
Like it comes way back.
It comes back and it's high, and so you have this very, very. It seems like a very tall windshield. It's really nice.
Very good. I love the air intakes, the ones that are hidden behind the door, so to speak. Like that's such a cool thing, and really helps the profile look of the car.
It's like the most unique looking car on the road. It doesn't look like anything else. It's so fucking cool.
And you look at the car, and I know we talked about this a little bit, with the experience I got at McLaren Chicago with their service department. You see like a 488. We talked about the 488. And this car is just so far beyond that. Even the 570 is just so far beyond that with the carbon tub. And you look at how much thought they put into cooling. The suspension design is just far superior. I mean, and you can tell the first 5 minutes you get in this thing, it is unbelievable.
It rides so good. Like in the city and the shitty roads and the 405 and stuff, like comfort mode is actually comfortable. Yeah. It's really nice. Stereo system's good. The air conditioning is sort of a little strange.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
It's not so strong. But it's very hot. It was 90, 95 degrees out, like where we were there. So all right, but fucking awesome car. So fast.
They make good shit.
So fast that I think, they've really. I mean, I thought they did mostly with the 570. The 570 was the most real car they've made, but now this is just so much beyond that. It's like that. It's like 4GT performance, but it's way more easy to
more approachable, right?
It's just not a pain in the ass. Like the center hinge doors, like you can kind of drop in like a spider. You don't have to do this weird sit down and shuffle in. You can kind of drop down into it, which is really nice. And the camera system for maneuvering is easy. Like it looks fucking so spaceshipy and intimidating, but once you're like, okay, that's what that button does. That's what that button does. Okay. Oh. And then it's just like, and it's so fast.
Fucking spaceship.
It is so fucking fast. I mean, if you turn off traction control, I bet you it'll blow the tires off of fourth.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
And it's the craziness that's not really, I mean, it's fast all the time, but it's after that like 60, 70 that it just pulls like, you're just like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And it's addictive. It definitely releases something in your body when you start accelerating like that because you turn into an animal.
I'm pretty sure it's
not used to
boosted by
that.
gear. Like when you upshift from third to
be.
fourth, it pulls harder.
It's gotta, yeah.
Yeah. It's really fucking wild. I mean, it's very, very, you know.
Like, where do they go from here? And they'll go somewhere, and that's what's
They'll
crazy
go somewhere,
about cars
but
these
like
days.
I'm the limiting factor. The car can go faster than I can go, certainly on a road.
Yeah.
You know, it's just nuts.
So I've been listening to a bunch of the Dinner with Racers podcast. Have you listened to that? It's
I know what
Sean
it is.
Heckman and Ryan Eversley, I think it is. It's really good. It's like every big racer you can think of from like the past 70 years, basically, and very honest and everything. But they were talking to Tommy Kendall, and all these racers are trying to talk about what's wrong with racing, and a lot of them are like, there's too much aero and not enough power, and the cars don't really move around enough. And
They want the cars looser.
they want the cars looser, so it's more on the driver, because right now they're like airplanes. I mean, the driver has to be excellent, but if they're all excellent and all the cars have perfect aero, like the speeds are getting too high. I think they're talking about for Indy. You know, they're getting up like 240 because the aero is so good. But Tommy was like, look, you have street cars with 800 horsepower and race cars have 5.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with IMSA or any, they all have to be detuned. And so you have a car like this, which is, you know, bananas.
Dude, if you
and you gotta turn
let
it down a ton.
people, if you just let some club racers race spec 720S, it would be fucking crazy.
It'd be awesome.
They'd be sailing these things off the track.
No, you're not spec team, but like, you know, IMSA pros would be sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, I cut you off.
No.
what did they just say about? They just said the McLaren Senna. I just read
Mm-hmm.
the Senna was 6 seconds faster than the 720S around Estoril, and was a second off the GT3 car, and the GT3 car's on slicks.
Jesus.
I mean,
And I think the Road and Track Review, to your point, they said that it felt like the most approachable race car. Like it drove.
what the Senna did?
Yeah. So it's part of what McLaren is doing is taking like that road car DNA of it feels, you know, easy to sit in and comfortable and more like easy to steer and
Like
turn.
normal?
But they just turn everything up. Yeah. You know, instead of 4GT, like you said, as race car, you can drive on the street.
Yeah, I mean the 4GT was very stable, planted, easy. I mean it's intimidating to look at, but to drive one fast is not hard. But it feels in every way like, all right, they've taken a race car and they've put an interior in it. That's how this works. The 720S is much more usable, friendly.
True hypercar, I guess.
Well, it's just design. You could fucking daily it. Like you can't daily a 4GT. There's no trunk. There's no cup holder. You know, there's like no anything really. It does have GPS and it does have a radio and it's got air conditioning, but it's pretty bare bones. I mean, the seat doesn't move. You know, the pedals move. The seat doesn't move at all. So getting in and out of it kind of sucks. Like, no, you can't daily drive. You could easily daily drive a 720S.
That's amazing.
Easily.
Yeah, it is really. And we were driving, I think it was back towards Venice, and you know, I'm like, why are these people looking at us? I was starting to get pissed, and you forget that you're really in this car because it's so normal.
Yeah.
And I was so infatuated with our conversation too, but you know, it was just.
You forget. If it starts to feel totally normal, and you don't realize that you're in this thing that looks like a fucking spaceship, and people are taking pictures of you, and you're like, "Fuck off!" Oh,
yeah, yep.
I think we also being in this business for so long, like to us, sometimes they are just cars. Like you're like, I'm in a car. This is a great car, but it's no longer a mythical being. You know, it's not a unicorn. And so we could drive around in a Porsche or Aston Martin or something, and people are just turning and looking and staring and talking, and you're like, what? Oh, right. Oh, shit. I'm in the thing. I forget.
Yeah, here's a good question for you guys, and I thought about this as you're talking about the Senna and all this, and me and Scott talk about this constantly. You know, Scott has done some racing. I know you've raced. And you
only shit cars, but yes.
Well, it doesn't matter. You know,
yeah.
But so you get into these cars like the 720, perfect as you could possibly imagine a car being, but it's so overkill to the point of this, you know, You should have a safety cell on it. You should have a cage. I felt like when you were tearing it up, like I should have a helmet on. I mean, these cars are just got so ridiculous, and the people that are going to buy them are probably going to stuff them in a garage. They're not going to drive them like they're meant to be driven. At what point is this line between like race car performance and street car performance?
Oh, dude, I think you should need a special license to get shit like that. I really do. And if they like, I know that's like anti-America freedom, but like that's a crazy car. I mean, you can be going 150 miles an hour in like 10 seconds in one of these fucking things. And so I'm personally like pro licensing for cars that are above a certain performance threshold.
They do that with motorcycles in Europe, huh?
Do they?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Europe or just the UK or where specifically it is, but you have to have different licenses for different CCs.
Oh, really?
Whoa, yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if the CC thing would I don't know if you could do it by horsepower level or whatever. Right. CC wouldn't, because like a 5-liter Mustang makes 400 horsepower or whatever, and this is 4 liters and it makes fucking 800.
I mean, horsepower, I don't know. It's not a bad idea. And in, America freedom, it's like, yes, it would be restrictive, but if you can afford the car, you can afford the license program to get the license,
On the other end of the spectrum, let's assume America freedom is intact and you can buy anything you want as long as it passes emissions and has license plates on it and whatever. I got a friend who owns a body shop and they fix exotics, and people fucking trash exotic cars. Very rarely get hurt.
Oh,
they're really, really safe.
Mm-hmm.
The carbon cell stuff especially, the cars are super, super safe. It's not common for someone to have an accident at a normal road pace and be hurt in one of those cars. Just throwing that one into the mix.
It's a good counterpoint. I guess for me it's just strange. People associate and these cars are faster than a lot of race cars. They're way faster than most people that race. And you look at it, it's like it's not a race car. You can't race it, but it's just crazy to me as a street car, right? It's perfect as a street car. You could think about how fast it is, but I just feel like they're crossing a line at this point without some licensing.
You can
or
go
something.
to track days. You can go. You can. But I wouldn't mind if there was a license for. Is that horsepower? Someone throwing out licenses?
Yeah, one guy said in the UK it's just a different test over 125 cc based on horsepower. I don't know if that's UK or elsewhere. And then A1 125 15 horse, A2 48 horse.
Okay,
I don't know
so
where
there are
referring to,
scaled motorcycle licenses somewhere. Here in Los Angeles, you don't need a license to ride a 50 cc or a 49 cc scooter, and you need a license above that. But
what I think is going to get weird is as cars go on the used market. We're seeing it now with F bodies and stuff like. The performance right now is accelerating and getting really, really high, and eventually that shit's going to be $8,000, and then you're going to have a high school kid who works hard buy something that it comes with 500 horsepower. Like, then what do you do with the license program? Because depending on the cost of it, I don't know. That would be a hard one to crack.
Yeah.
Well, time will tell what happens to people. I'm just bringing it up. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't.
Well, the real question is, do people crash? Right. The newer sports cars more so than they crashed Ferrari 355s. You know what I mean? Or I know a lot of people fucking crashed Ford GTs because they were tricky to drive and they had no stability control of any kind, and a lot of people crashed them. And now that I think that probably happens less.
It's a good point.
Well, and you have all the stability control systems are so advanced now too. It really does keep you out of a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Even if you think it's off, a lot of times it's not.
It's still there as a safety net. How about this? What, regardless of price, what's your favorite? We talk about these race cars, these fast cars, all this crap. What is your favorite driver's car, regardless of price? That's not about outright performance, but how it makes you feel.
Of any era?
Of anything?
I mean, modern, past 20 years, like sports cars, supercars. Like, if you got into one thing and you just puts a smile on your face, you feel rewarded every time you drive it.
There is not a lot of cars I drove that were more fun than a stick shift 430 Spider, Ferrari 430 Spider with a nice sounding exhaust on it. That was pretty fucking glorious.
Why? Why is it?
Well, it's got all the right it's got the right senses, right? It covers all the right boxes. Not that a 430 is the greatest sounding Ferrari, but it was at the time the fastest Ferrari I'd driven with a stick, and I think still probably the fastest Ferrari I've driven with a stick. With the top down, you're right there. It was at the time I drove it. It was a lovely day. I was in the woods of Greenwich, Connecticut. Sort of flying through, and you get that when you have a gated shifter. You get that clack, 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 and that is just. I mean, that's the greatest, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And to have Ferrari gauge cluster, and and just that's great. Not that the Ferrari 430 is the most perfect car, like it's not, but like that, I put that experience, up there.
What about you?
It's hard because I'm going back in my brain, and there's like cars that are great to drive, but maybe don't have the right soundtrack. Like I'm trying to put all the pieces together. Like the Vantage V12S with manual is 90% of correct about everything I love about cars. Like it's cool looking, it's interesting looking, but it's not as flashy as a Ferrari. It sounds great, manual transmission. Dynamically though, it's like little nose heavy, the front's real heavy, and I never like slid it around, but I think I was talking to Harris and he's like, yeah, they're real twitchy because it's front heavy and has a ton of torque, so it's like it's not going to give you the right amount of feedback, but everything else is great. Whereas feedback wise, you could go down to like a Mazda Miata if you want. And sure. I know Sam Smith is laughing right now because we've been arguing about those cars, but like that's super fun. Or even like the FRS. You had one like, I love that thing. That just talked to me at both front end, back end. Everything about it felt right dynamically. It just sounds like shit. So that's not going to check all the boxes either.
I could throw out the Sharkworks 4.1 liter GT3 RS as being approaching perfect.
You've also driven better cars than I have.
Yeah, but that's the question, right?
I've forgotten some.
Yeah,
I've forgotten a few.
I was gonna say a 2-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler, or excuse me, a 2-door Jeep.
A 2-door Jeep Wrangler. Yeah. Off-roading. You can be fully zen off-roading
big
as
smile,
well.
All kinds of shit.
Dude, I just took the Range Rover Velar, that trail that we climbed, the Pioneer Trail at Rower Flats.
Yeah,
I did that trail in a Velar on all seasons, bro.
How was it?
Beast. It was fucking beast. Nobody expects.
Way too bad.
Jamal Hamidi, who now works at Range Rover, was like, "Thank you for going off road." Like nobody is taking Velars off roading, but they sent me this thing. It had air suspension standard, because it's a P380S, the big engine, biggest engine you can get right now, and the small wheels. It's like we got to go off roading.
Yep.
And it's got that it's got a buzzword name, terrain response 2 or something like that. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Terrain response 2.
Yeah, I think it's terrain response.
And I put it in like sand mode, turn off the traction control, and so downsides, it's really hard to place the front tires, which is as true in parking it in my garage as it is in off-roading. So it's tough to place the front tires. The better news is it's got good ground clearance, and you just kind of point it somewhere and mash the throttle, and it like Billy Goats its way up. Like it put up no fuss at all, going up some very steep, very rocky stuff. And I
like that they're still capable like that,
dude.
And
it is
and
Range
arguably
Rover.
More capable.
Yeah, more
with
capable.
The technology. You might be losing some fun, arguably speaking.
Right.
But
it was easier. Like it did the same amount of work as the LR4 that we took up there, but for less energy. So now I did have a 4x4 disengagement once. It gave me an error and said 4x4 disengaged after a particularly tough section, but I shut it down for like a minute and turned it back on, and it came back. So
did the center screens go out at all?
Did they go out?
I've heard
no.
that they do that. Yeah,
the center screens
or
did not.
It has happened rather.
They did not. The center screens worked. I don't like. Do you like touch screens, dude?
I'm not even going to go into that here, honestly. I don't want to go into that. That's kind of how I started some of this stuff, was testing infotainment and security holes for manufacturers. And I found a lot, and I've continued to find stuff I don't like about them. But
yeah,
the Velar I had problems with.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the second best touchscreen system behind Tesla, which is sort of that's still not good. Like, it looks cool.
It looks cool, but it's another outsourced. It's a Panasonic. project. Like most of them, like FCA's is all Panasonic, Ford's is Panasonic, and they just feel generic. Like, we talked about Tesla as a tech company, right? Not a car company. These car companies are trying to be tech companies, and they don't know how to do it, so they're just outsourcing it. And I feel like they don't have good enough control over the updates of their own software. Like, there's no excuse to have a head unit or infotainment that is slow, laggy, that crashes, that stuff doesn't work on it, that's released to the public. There's just no excuse for it, especially at that price range. I get it in like a $20,000 eco car, but
especially when we interact with touchscreens every day with our phone, and they don't crash for the most part. So if we're used to these systems that work fine, and then you get in your car and you're like, how come they can't do it? This thing did it, and so it sucks to be a manufacturer because you're going to have that comparison every single time you have a problem.
Correct.
Yeah, I suppose I've just lowered my standards.
Yeah,
I have. I drive so many cars, like I just expect the systems to be sort of shitty.
Yeah. And
you can't let them off the hook.
In this one.
No, I just, I start driving fast and I stop thinking about it.
Yeah, that's the way out of it. Or I just turn the screen off. That's why I told you with the Lexus. You're that joystick sucks.
The mouse.
Yeah, the mouse. I just turn the screen off and ignore it because I know I'm not going to deal with it.
So did you find yourself using steering wheel buttons more to control things that you normally used to control with like knobs and whatnot?
Yes, I do tend to use the steering wheel control, so you're more sensitive to placement and all that. But I still like a physical, rotary knob for volume.
I agree.
And physical buttons for track selection, just the basics.
Because the reason I ask is I had a 2018 Accord, and it had a touchscreen with buttons. It had for home audio, volume, whatever, and steering wheel buttons. Then I got the 2018 Civic Si, and all of the buttons were gone on the center console. And I was curious if they're everyone can just use the steering wheel knob. We don't need to add these parts. They save money, but are they pushing people in that direction, or are they finding people are just using steering wheel controls more anyway, and they'll just phase out the hard controls?
Well, Honda's adding back volume knobs. They made a mistake with that, at least for that price range. But I know, my understanding is a lot of the new infotainments that are coming out from my friends, their systems and a lot of these companies are pushing for physical button, no more physical buttons. Wow. Everything's going to be screens.
Really? Ugh.
Yes, that's the trend, and it's
the Velar dude had blanks in the UI. You know how Porsche, the Panamera will have blanks if you don't get options, but they're physically blank buttons.
Yeah.
This had blank buttons in the fucking touchscreen.
Wow.
That's
the
weird.
software, this Velar did not have the full camera system, right? So it had a great, it was radio, nav, phone, grayed out camera. And other shit that it didn't have. The cooled seat option was there, but gray. You're giving me blank buttons in the touchscreen.
Reminding you that you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a double dose of fuck you.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if they're we can either remind people that we make these features and maybe they'll get them next time, or I don't know, maybe is it a cheaper thing to program if they keep the button but just make it a different color and don't put the feature in, then to make it a whole different UI that gets rid of that button or something?
Really, it's just all firmware version. There's multiple firmware versions. So if a manufacturer says, hey, we're going to have all these features, so they forward it over to the developer, and the developer's okay, we're going to build all this into the base firmware and just load different, so it's just an update. So, it might just be easier for them to gray it out versus, they can do anything with that.
So douchey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably didn't answer your question.
No, you did. You totally did. Yeah, because they'll build it and it's just they only have to build it once. They don't have to go, okay, on the ones that don't have these options, these 6 buttons become 4, so let's space them differently. We got to redesign the whole thing. We got to make sure that the accuracy is the same. It's a huge pain in the ass.
For a luxury company, they should be doing that.
It should.
I understand it when they're physical buttons. You have to put, I get it, but in software for expensive cars, come on. Yeah. I know that's easier said than done, but come on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if the features are for just just generic stuff, but when you have core vehicle functions on the screens, it's got to work, HVAC or HVAC controls, seat coolers, seat heaters. When you start building that into a UI or that human machine universe that they're trying to do with touchscreens, that's a deal breaker for me. If I gotta wait for lag for a seat heater button to toggle or it freezes up, which happens all the time, you're not doing something right.
Yeah,
and I know
true.
it's all tied into CAN bus, so it's a lot more complicated. The software, the programming, all of it is a nightmare. It's a huge development cost for all these companies to do this. But I don't know. I'm not going to say anything more about it because we could go on about this.
Yeah. Well, points for the Lotus Evora 400. It has an Alpine head unit. You Bluetooth connect. You do it for your fucking phone, right? That's
Easy.
it. Done.
Yeah, right.
Done. We got so many questions. You want to blast through a few of these? Let's see what's going on.
We forgot to get Mark's smile car though.
Huh?
What's your favorite car?
Oh yeah, what's
smile car.
your driver's car?
The cheap one is an S2000, which I own because you feel everything that you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's mechanical feeling, and you feel what the car's doing. It's not the fastest thing. It's not the best. You have an STI, right?
Used to. No.
Okay.
E46 M3.
Okay, similar stuff. You feel things that are going on with it.
Yeah.
More expensive car, GT3 is pretty much the best thing I've ever driven.
GT3's oof. So nice.
I can't think of a middle. I like the LC. We talked about LC 500. That's not like a performance car, but it has all the senses are stirred by it. So.
That car is like, I think it's gorgeous, and it was a great GT car. Dash was nice. I didn't like center console sounded good. It was again, it's like it's everything I would want in a GT commuter car if I was making money. It's just like dynamically, even sport mode. We're on the really twisty road, and you felt it was heavy, and that's fine. That's not what it's for.
Yeah.
I think they did a better job than Aston recently. You just had to go in the V8 Vantage, though.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, you didn't.
I didn't yet.
Sorry. You hypothetically might have a... well, never mind. We'll revisit that.
We will revisit.
We'll revisit that. What else the fuck was going on? I strongly recommend Amsterdam. Just throwing that out there. Thaddeus and I did Amsterdam. We went to Ghent. Recommend Ghent. We drank in a bar from the 1500s. Shit is so fucking old there.
Yeah.
So old.
So everything's so old. It was it's lovely.
I saw a building in France where the window was made of wood. It was a square. We're up by the coast. Some buildings there got destroyed in the war. Some didn't. I mean, you can see the rock in the mud, like the exterior cover of plaster, whatever they put on buildings, had fallen off, and you just see like rocks, shells, and mud. And then there was this rectangle, and it just had sticks of wood over the front of it. It's like, wow, that's the oldest fucking curtain ever invented.
Yeah, it's ancient over there, man. It's great.
Cool.
It's really nice. It's a good get the fuck away from cars
Yes,
thing.
if that was like, there's a bike path that goes around the entire country of the Netherlands, and you could ride it on a scooter.
Well, so we learned this. Okay, so we found there's these little shitbox terrible cars. They're like single cylinder, and they have scooter engines in them, and they're basically like these tiny little side by side little boxes, and you can ride them on the bike path in the Netherlands.
And they're side by side.
Yeah,
Oh my
they're
God, you didn't
called.
mention that. It's like a tuk-tuk?
They're called like micro cars. They have a fucking name. I can't remember them. They're so unfortunate looking. They're just like a micro car. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, what the fuck is that? A Canta. Yeah, that's it.
That's like a car.
Yeah, so it's that you can actually fit two people in that allegedly, or one Thaddeus.
Check that out.
But I guess you roll into the
put a
back of it in a
wheelchair
wheelchair.
So you can drive that on the bike path?
So you
Holy
can drive
shit.
these on the fucking bike path. So you can go. There's. We found we then found a cycling map, and as it turns out, you can go around most of the Netherlands on bike paths.
Wow!
And if you combine these two things,
now I get it.
We have decided that that one's kind of awesome. Yeah. We have decided that the way we should see Amsterdam is to go there and buy micro cars and do a 1,200-mile road trip around the bike paths of Amsterdam in micro cars.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I'll sign up.
That sound fun?
It does, yeah.
I'm down.
They look hilarious.
When he described it, he made it sound like they were like scooters with two strokes. I'm like, you're going to do 1,000 miles on one of these things?
Well, we did discuss buying actual scooters and doing it on scooters as well.
That'd be a long week.
That would be okay. I think it'd be fun.
How many miles is the whole thing?
I don't know. It's a couple hundred. You can get a piss?
Yeah, where's that?
You just go straight down the hall, last door on the right.
Okay, I thought it was like, I guess I'm used to the United States. I thought it was like 1,000 miles, and you do that on a moped. Or like, that's very Dumb and Dumber.
It could be 1,000. Yeah, I mean, it could be 1,000, possibly.
It'd be funny.
It really seems like a beautiful. It's first off, it's fucking flat, right? There's any big hills, right? So you're going 40 the whole way.
Good point.
I don't know. The micro cars seem really fun.
Those are so funny.
They look terrible.
You want to do this one or this one?
No. We're gonna go. I'm gonna do a question real quick. Well, the first one has nothing to do with Mark. Did I ever watch the movie The Wraith? Yes. If so, do I want a turbo K car? No. Have you driven the new Volt? Yes. What do I think? It's lovely. I like the old Volt. I like the new Volt even more. It's an appliance car, but it is the best appliance car I think on the market. They're very affordable. I think they're well made for the most part. One person I know had like a nightmare with a Volt that would turn off randomly, apparently. Just turn off. But like the first one I had, and then my sister got a second gen one, and she liked it very much, and I liked mine very much. And I like how it drove. It's very comfortable and relaxing.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
My buddy just bought a first gen one after getting rid of a really ratty V6 Dodge truck he had. And I was like, oh, did you feel more relaxed in traffic? And he's like, yeah. He hadn't realized how stressed he got with like the noise of the engine and just stop and go. And now he just whatever it is, you just don't feel like you're as much in a rush. There's less noise. I don't know what it is, but
we discussed that, Mark. Someone asked about the new Volt, and we were just talking about how you feel less stressed out in traffic when you're in an electric car. Because the vibrations and the smells and all the noises aren't there. It's interesting. Here's an interesting question: $500,000 car portfolio, maximum return 5 years. What do you buy?
a bunch of 550 Maranellos and 575s with manuals.
You buy
Ford GT, one Ford GT.
One Ford GT, Tim says.
I would also buy a Vantage V12S with a manual and a V8 Vantage with a manual.
So you'd buy, you'd spread it around a little bit?
Yeah.
I think you get maximum return at $500,000 by buying one car, first off. Because I think the way the rich are getting richer, you should start with the most valuable possible car you can for a maximum return. What do you think?
Chevy Cavalier convertible.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I can't speak to it, honestly.
On a percentage return, maybe.
How much is a 575M right now? Like
with
manual?
a manual?
Yeah. It's got to be probably near there or more.
$200,000, maybe $250,000. So you could start there. You get a pair of those.
I'd buy two of those.
A pair of Maranellos. That could be a good one.
Yeah.
I would say one 1973 Porsche 2.7 RS. I would just get one and just do that, or like one BMW M1. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like one really dope, iconic, something special. Because I think if you go all in on the right car, you get max return in 5 years.
Yeah.
This is our opinions.
Yeah, this is not financial advice.
For $2.79, that's the opinion.
That's the for Canadian, for $2.79 Canadian, brother.
Well, now, if that person goes and buys these cars and then makes loot, they're like best $2.79 they've ever
Right.
spent.
Straight up, good for you.
Jason wants to know, what is the best highway commuter car that is also fun at Black Hawk and Autobahn Country Club? This is from your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? Best highway commuter car that would be fun at Autobahn Country Club and Black Hawk?
Probably an M3 of some type.
M3 sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge M3 fan, but that's why everybody likes them, because they're perfect at both.
Yeah, Corvettes.
Yeah,
Corvettes are great highway cars and track cars. You can have a very versatile Corvette track car. You can do a lot with Mustangs and Camaros if you're into that sort of thing.
I saw a couple of C63S coupes around the road. Those are good looking.
Yeah,
and that's not as focused, I guess, as like an M3, but it's pretty good. Pretty damn good.
There's a few, or like an M2. You know, the new M2.
Great
If you've got $54,000, that's a good choice.
That's a real good car.
I saw a gray one in the canyons yesterday. I liked it a lot. The gray with the black wheels, that really works. I'm a fan of that. It was fun on the track too at Ginger Man. That
real
thing was
fun.
Fucking sweet. Jorge wants to know, are there any decent roads in the northern suburbs of Chicago? For that, we go to Mr. Geese.
In northern suburbs, not really.
I'm going to bring out a fucking donut.
To try those things.
Pass that over.
You want to try a donut?
Hell yeah.
I want to see this carnival that's in this
We're going to do
box.
some donut tasting at the same time while we answer questions.
The areas that I film at are near Bull Valley, Illinois, Union, Illinois, and up that way. Just start to pull up Google Maps and you'll see. But it's really wide open. There's some turns, not like out in California, but you can really burn up there. There's not a lot of cops either.
Oh.
Not a lot of cops is good, especially for obviously filming locations.
Right.
Cha-ching, son. We got many.
Let's do this one right here.
It looks like
bring it over.
Here, it looks here. Wait, Pat, throw that down on the center there. That looks nice.
Nice.
Holy shit! This is
We didn't really. They didn't get trashed. They didn't get. One got a little flipped over. It looks like it actually might be the Cronut. Did you get a Cronut?
yeah.
Or a knockoff of a Cronut? It looks like that one got a little flippity.
Oh, this one here. This
Yeah.
is the one. Oh, I thought
Fuck yeah.
Is that's like what is that Domino's dessert pizza they made? It's like Oreos and icing. That's like the donut version.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy.
I don't know. I had one before I came here. It was a chocolate cream filled one, and I just had to eat it, dude. I ate it in like a half a second. Like it
feel
was
like-
so good.
All right, I want some diabetes.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna do it for you.
You brought it as a gift.
You know what? Fine.
Oh, you motherfucker.
You want the Cronut thing?
Oh no! What is that?
I'm taking what appears to be a knockoff of the Dominique Ansel Cronut, but I don't give a fuck because it looks
Wait,
great.
give me the part that fell off. So
Here you go.
I just try this thing.
Hell yeah.
Now I talked it up. It's gonna suck, but whatever.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you kidding me?
Donuts never suck.
Bourbon and Cronut?
Oh my god! Great point. America.
America. It's all about almost IP infringement. Jerry wants to know, I'm going to be in LA and renting a 718 Cayman on Turo. That'll be fun. What canyons do we recommend? Go Google Angeles Crest Highway and drive that and the spurs off it.
Yep.
That's where we were today, and it was very nice.
Just do that. Just explore. Exploring is the best.
That's
Pull
the
up.
best road I've ever been on in America. I mean, the Dragon is the other one, but that's too crowded. This is
No, we beat the dragon.
way on another level.
And I would say, yeah, just Google Angeles National Forest and look for the squigglies on Google Maps and follow those. And then explore. That's
And
what I
be
would
safe.
do. And be safe. Don't cross double yellows. Abel says we were testing our super bike in Estoril. How jealous. And saw the Senna presentation. Bonkers car, stupid fast, white with black wheels. Pretty amazing. Active Aero is crazy. But the bike is faster. Oh. Cheap shot, Abel, but fair.
Jeez, whatever bike he's on is fast as hell.
Yeah, whatever bike he's on was mobbing.
Jesus.
Hey, Eric, thank you for supporting the channel. Get rid of those ads. I agree. Tell them how worthless infotainment is, Dr. Goose.
I'm going to tell you how worthless infotainment is until they can figure out how to update it immediately and not have it have a bunch of security holes in it that require fire. All these cars have firewalls, 4G LTE, ancient encryption, all that.
Oh my god.
Until they can figure out all that, I say it's worthless.
Fair.
Wow.
I agree. Totally fair. For those of you not enjoying donuts right now,
These donuts,
they're awesome.
They're very
You
good.
have to know they're awesome. Who is this place?
DKs.
I don't know what I'm eating. 'Cause I don't
DK's
eat
Donuts.
I don't eat donuts. But
I think you ate a cruller.
it's very good. It's got a density that most donuts don't
You
have.
don't have to be nice. You know.
All right.
I know you want to be nice.
All right.
The
It
guest
tastes like shit.
There we go.
Zach lives on broccoli and chicken with steamed rice.
That's true.
So
You're
Pretty
super
boring.
healthy.
he's super healthy.
Pretty healthy.
That's
I'm not
why.
super healthy, but
That's how he keeps that figure.
Got to. It's hard to be nice. Stay healthy.
Seriously,
As well.
his discipline is incredible. I have none.
what do you think will happen? Like they're trying to implement auto payments. Like you pull up your car to a parking meter and it'll talk to the parking meter. All that smart, what Internet of Things and all that shit. How do you think that is going to work as far as security holes, encryption? Do they have more R&D to do? Because like I can't remember what company they're starting to roll this out.
Yes, there's a lot more work to do in encryption, and so every manufacturer is starting to put obviously connectivity in their cars because the whole point is every car needs to be connected to something so they can sell you more shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want ads in cars, you want buying and shopping and everything, renting, like your meters especially, right? That makes sense. But it's once those cars are all connected to the internet, it's just as hackable as your laptop is. Now, the only difference is they're putting different security levels or layers on the cars. There's, like I said, there's firewalls and there's teams, IT teams now in manufacturing or car companies that just work on the firewalls.
These white boxes.
Who's going to update it? You can see how often phones are updated if you're on an Android phone. I mean, you're lucky if you ever get an update. So now you put that on cars that are moving like death machines. All it takes is some smart guy to hack into these firewalls to get controls of systems. That's the next thing. I mean, it's just you're not seeing it yet because we're just at the cusp of it. But I know the people that work on some of this stuff, and it's just the right. You just
wow.
You just
ringing
need
endorsement of your friends.
you need the right people to the right hackers to get into it. It's just a matter of time, and that's kind of why I say I like my older cars because I don't have to worry about connectivity and all that shit. I think they're gonna have some real growing pains with it. You're gonna have antivirus and all that crap in cars too. I mean,
I want John McAfee in charge of my vehicle security.
Yeah, he's gonna pop up on your screen every time you start the car.
He's just gonna do a line and be like, "I'm here for Ford."
Start the car and goes, "It's poisoning me."
Oh my god, he's gonna be showing up at press launches.
Craziness.
Anyway, that's the last time I'm talking about it. Just make sure you ban me.
Fair.
No, that's good to know.
Danny wants to know, trying to decide between an E55, a Lexus ISF, second-gen CTSV, and an M3 sedan for a fast and fun four-door that can fit the whole family. Okay.
Okay.
The
No, go ahead.
Good choices.
Yeah. Any input, Zach?
Just wondering if he wants manual or automatic, because like the CTSV with a manual is fantastic.
With an auto,
it's
wah-wah.
not.
I agree.
You know?
ISF only has an auto, but the long-term reliability of that car is really nice.
Yeah, that's a fun car. It's
ISFs
not as
are
quick
pretty
as it,
good.
but it's a real good cruiser.
I don't love the ISF seats, but that's just me, and I'm overly sensitive to that thing. E55s are boring if you're not building a drag car.
I think they're really good looking, but I mean, that feels too used to me.
They're old.
Yeah.
They're old at this point.
Yeah.
There's not one out there that isn't beat to fucking hell.
Yeah, with what you'll spend fixing the E55, you could buy the ISF.
Yeah.
E90 M3 has always been a favorite of mine.
It's good. Check the rod bearings. But it's good.
They're real good,
Yeah.
but they're good.
Right?
Yeah,
very
E90, do rod bearings done, or the Lexus if you want it to last. I wouldn't go near a Cadillac used.
No?
No, I mean,
Not so good? I haven't fucked with one.
I wouldn't.
My only thought was if it's manual, maybe you won't lose money on it.
True.
And then you
Yeah,
can get
that's
rid of
a good
it. That's
point.
the only thing I'm thinking. Because M3 sedan, it'll probably slip for a while, but and also there's more sensors on the E90s and all that stuff. But I don't know. This is not very conclusive.
If you get them used at the right price, it's really a minimal risk anyway. All those cars are really affordable.
That's true.
For what, ISFs?
Yeah, ISFs are very affordable. The E90s are dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Dirt cheap.
The early ones, right?
Yeah, like if you get a 2009 or 10 and, obviously do rod bearings, you're good.
Cool. I hope that's helpful, Danny. Someone wants to know, I'm having a hard time deciding between a 98 Integra GSR and a 2002 Miata SE. For track days, autocross, and daily, I don't have kids. Okay. I would say...
Miata.
You would say Miata?
You're not going to find a GSR that's in any good shape.
That's fair.
And it doesn't have a limited slip on the front. It's just a old one-wheel peel machine.
That's fair. Totally
and
fair.
rear-wheel drive is just better.
I think I agree with those things. I would think if you're having trouble deciding, you really just need to decide what type of experience do you want to have. Do you want to have like the most front-wheel drive experience that front-wheel drive gets? Or do you want to have the experience that, people say is the basis of all sports cars?
So passive-aggressive.
Which do you prefer?
That's amazing.
That's a nice way to put it.
You don't have kids.
Yeah,
Do you want to
the-
eventually?
You want the deluxe McDonald's platter, or do you want to go to a real restaurant?
Yeah. Eric, thank you for your donation. Stevens wants to know, fast all-wheel drive daily travel car for $10,000. Broham. I currently have a 2002 WRX wagon. You have the fast all-wheel drive travel car for $10,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheap, fast, or good? What do you want, buddy? You've already requested cheap and fast.
The only thing I would do is you could
there's nothing
move
else.
up to the WRXs with the 2.5 instead of the 2-liter. But
Sorry.
because he does have the first year of the WRX ever, so that has like the glass transmission. I mean, he probably already figured that out, but I don't know. If you already own it,
Yeah,
fucking just keep it.
probably a better version of what you have. Or maybe
Yeah.
how cheap are legacy GTs, like the turbo ones these days? Are they reasonable?
Yeah, I think they're under 10.
Maybe a Legacy GT, like 05 to 08? Is that the correct years?
Yeah, I believe so.
Give or take, 05, 08? Those are nice. I'm a fan of those.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Thanks, Pete, for your donation. No question. James wants to know, bought all cars go to heaven. Thank you. Live in New York City and want to get either a 991.5 GT3 or GTS, not for a daily, for a weekend car. It's not going to be popular in this room. I say GTS. The roads in New York are pretty fucked up, even the suburbs, even the highways. I think the softness of the GTS will be much appreciated on the New York roads instead of the GT3, unless you're doing track days. GTSs are super fucking fast. I went to the press launch, and it was in Colorado, and the roads were bumpy, and there was snow, and there was some gravel, and there was nice tarmac, and it was very, very well-rounded.
And they can handle track work as well. Like they have the parts for it.
Oh, hell yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking of, and this is going back to your advice about buying the best car you can at the top of it, the GT3 will probably be more sought after for longer. So it depends on how long you want to keep it. I think it only if you're planning to keep it and you want to flip it, or you want to, if you don't care about losing the money, you're probably correct on the GTS.
The roads are pretty gnarly in New York.
They are.
Yeah, a GT3 is it's gonna hurt.
Some of the highways there are like driving downstairs.
It's like fucking off-roading.
We think
you hang out in
our
Manhattan ever? It's
better.
like off-roading.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Ben wants to know. Wow, thanks, Ben. How? Where'd it go?
Sorry.
Tim, what'd you do? You fucked it up. Jesus Christ. We're not going to get through all these. We're not going to get through all these. Tim has to go in a minute. In like 10 minutes, maybe. How important is getting the limited slip differential with an NC Miata? Purpose for getting cars for cruising around Connecticut back roads and then west. I mean, winter only for occasional snow fun. There you go. There's one reason for an LSD. You definitely want a limited slip differential.
If you're driving in the snow.
Yeah. I mean, all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to get a Miata, you want like the best one you can afford. If you can afford it, the best one has a limited slip differential.
Absolutely. They came on a bunch of different trim lines. So, yeah. And sliding. Duh. Like,
yeah. Better for sliding.
Better for everything.
Yeah. Better for winter, better for wet, better for sliding, better for all the things. I hope. It's just better. It's just better, Ben. Kyle, supercharged 997 Porsche, let's assume Carrera, or Evora 400 for no trailer track car. I say Evora, brand new, Camry engine, needs nothing. Not that I don't like Mr. Nick's VF engineering supercharger kit. It's really cool, but like, man, for a no trailer track car, nothing says loving like stock. Stockity stock is the way to go. If you could swing it, the Evora 410 is a little more track focused than the 400. It's like an extra $7,000 or $8,000, I think. Comes with better tires. Comes with some carbon stuff standard that's optional on the 400. I recommend the 410 over the 400 if you got the extra like 7 or 8 grand, whatever it is. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'll say that real quick. Your AP2S 2000, yes.
Oh, the next one. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Read it out. I have a 25-mile commute each way every day. Would an S2000 second gen AP2 be a good daily? Person can only have one car.
No, it wouldn't be a good daily unless you really, really like driving. And if you had it, there's 2 things you do to it. Olean's dampers, the road and track kit, and regular all-season tires, not some crazy track tire. That car will ride extremely well, but you're going to get tired of the buzzy interior. So just drive it for like 10 minutes. You'll figure it out.
Fair advice. Will I regret buying a Ford Focus RS and having it as my only car? Local dealership has a new 17 on their lot for $34 grand. Wow, sounds like they fucking wanted over and got burned.
That's a nice discount.
I would say that if you're wherever you live, if the roads, the tarmac quality is good, then it will be fine and it will be nice. If the tarmac is bad, like if you live in New York City where that other dude lives, or if you live in an urban area with shitty tarmac, it's a very stiff car, and you may have to modify the suspension or whatever to make it ride better. That's really the thing. Other than that, it's a Focus that goes faster.
Your montage explaining damping was really funny.
Yeah.
It was just like jump cuts from other people driving the car. And
did you hate the
everyone's
shocks?
going like this.
I honestly, dude, I hated that car.
Did you?
I really hated that car. I thought the seating position was horse shit. The ride
seating
is
position's weird.
unacceptable. It just, I don't know. I feel like they just rushed that thing because people wanted it. They should have changed it for the U.S. market. I felt like if it's a true Euro car and that's what they deal with, the roads must be way different than out here because I couldn't tolerate it.
Dude, I drove across France, fucking glass.
Yeah, the German roads are glass.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
it's clearly
sense,
a Germany-developed car.
All right.
Yeah. And I have a $5,000 set of KW adaptive dampers on it.
I gotta drive that thing before
Makes
I
it
go,
better.
if you have it around.
It's sitting at Mountune right now because I'm
okay.
getting some things and new wheels.
Well,
Sorry.
I'll just come back out here.
Come back out. You can have it for a week.
How about just a day? I don't think I'll tolerate it for a week. But.
It is a lot better.
Is it?
No, yeah. It's a lot. It's a huge improvement with the better shocks.
Would you say honestly though, all he would take is a 30-minute test drive to figure out if he's going to regret it? That's a car you either like. or hate right away.
You'll know right away. Yeah, if you really sit in it and say, does this seating position work for me, and then drive it on some bumpy roads and say, is this worth it? I will because I think it is the most motorsporty of the hot hatches.
Agreed.
But there's some trade-offs to that. And to do those trade-offs at the price they wanted to sell it at, cheap shocks, whatever. So you might have to do some things. I'm lucky. I got all the things for free. I'm not sure I would have wanted to build a $55,000 Ford Focus.
Sure.
Yeah, just make sure he goes in with clear eyes and don't get all caught up in oh baby, I love this thing.
Yes.
Just sit there and feel it out. How's it feel on the road? How's the seat fit? Really just take a breath and make sure you want to buy this thing.
Yeah, it's about what you like, not about what we like. You'll figure it out.
Someone says, I'm a great writer and a pretty decent driver.
Great writer.
I know. It's gotta be it's gotta be ironic.
Yeah.
But for $5 I'll entertain their question. What would be your advice for getting into automotive journalism? Do you want to take that?
No. Because you've been doing this forever.
Find an angle. Why being a writer who likes cars, you got to find some kind of an angle. Maybe either your angle is that you worked as a mechanic and so you know about certain things, or maybe whatever your life experience is, you need to apply the life experiences to this car if you're gonna write, write from some kind of perspective of experience, and then write a lot and be prepared to be someone's slave, either yourself's or someone else, your own slave or someone else's slave. Yep. For a long fucking time. A really long time.
What's cool about
and by the time you get paid, you'll hate it.
And if you can do anything else, do it, because
very possible.
The guys after you left in the McLaren today, they're like, he drove off. He's like, that guy's got a fucking dream job, just beating up on cars for a living. He's like, that's the best thing. I'm like, man, I don't know about that, but.
Oh, there's work
it's
too.
Cool, but it's not like...
It is fun.
Yeah, it is
but
fun.
But there's also work.
Yeah, it's over-glamorized, I think.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I think write on Kinja, because you can write there for free, and if it's good and gets views, they'll start pulling to the front page, and there are people that are paid by Jalopnik and got their jobs like that. So there's a lot of outlets. Just find one.
So that's a real answer.
No, but here's a real answer too. You have to have an angle.
Tim, scroll down. We have a lot of questions left because we got to watch. Oh my God, there's a bunch.
We got to do them though.
We
the
can-
people
yeah, we can
I mean,
pay the money.
we don't necessarily have to. We can try to. What?
63 Dart V8 muscle car. Next.
It's a what? What's okay? Here we go. What's one new car feature you hated at first? Now that you've warmed up to and really love, can't live without. What's another you hated first and still hate? So there's nothing that you hated at first and then liked. No, there's nothing you liked at first and then hated. I liked Start Stop the first time I used it. I was like, this is genius. This is the coolest thing ever. And now I hate it so much. What about you?
Probably hill assist. Or
Like
yeah,
with
brake
stick
assist.
shift?
Yeah. I thought it was cool at first, and then I hate it being a manual transmission driver because I hate that it's holding on. I just want to feel the roll.
Really?
That's one thing I hate. What I like is blind spot monitoring. I hated that at first, but now I like it.
Me too.
I take pride in being really good at driving stick. I heel toe all the time, and I can doesn't matter how steep the hill is. I'm not rolling back more than a couple of inches. But It's not. I like a hill. I like hill hold. Hill hold is okay.
You have elevation here. I don't.
Yeah, I got hills here. I like rolling back 0. Rolling back 0 is good. Yeah. $250,000 budget. GT3 RS second gen versus R8 or Superformance GT40. Get the RS. GT3 RS.
I mean, if you want to keep your money, get the RS. But man, if you want to live, get the GT40.
Are those really $250,000?
I hope not. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot for a kit car. No, not to talk shit about Superformance, but that's
they're
just a lot of
fun.
money.
But that's like a 150 fun, not a 250 fun. At 250, you need technology. A throwback, you know what I mean? An inauthentic throwback is not. For $250,000, you can buy a legit sports car from the 60s. It will appreciate in value and also be like, you could buy a car for $250,000 that will be fun to drive, sound cool, look cool, and get you an invite to the fucking Milli Millia. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing that in a GT40. Like, not in a replica one anyway. So, I would say RS or vintage. Before we get out of here, for all the rest of you that asked questions, I'm sorry we couldn't get to them, but there was a shitload of you this time. Thank you all. Maybe we'll keep this window, and maybe we'll try and get to some of them next show, but I appreciate all of you. We got to end this one on a Haggerty thing. We got a partnership with Haggerty. Haggerty.com. They do insurance, as you well know, but like all of our friends write for Haggerty now. Also, like everyone's left a magazine and gone to Haggerty, and they have editorial content now. So we have a partnership with them where we like to let people know that they have some interesting articles worth discussing on their website, such as Timmy. I thought of this one for you. We got to do one every. We're doing one every other show. 5 hot cars to jump on before the prices go on. So their scale of things that are about to appreciate and depreciate in value is always interesting and fodder for questions sometimes without answers. For instance, on 5 hot cars to jump on before prices rise. What do you think about the 93 to 96 Cadillac Fleetwood?
I'm not going to comment since this is a sponsorship.
It's okay. No,
I think this is a great idea.
Open forum. So seriously, anything you want. You're completely open. No pressure.
I'd buy that and drive it off a cliff.
Me too.
I don't know why you would buy that.
I don't get it. Does that say the score is 82?
This is like
on top
this
right,
is like
Tim, above the picture. Does that say 82 there?
82. It says 82.
So the score goes 0 to 100, right? Where 50 is not appreciating or depreciating. So the closer the number is to 100, the angle of appreciation. So this thing's probably going for from $500 to $800 this year, and so it's hugely appreciating. What does that say? Middle 3 good condition is how much?
Median 3 is $2,900.
How the fuck?
That's a junkyard
does
car.
a car go up from $2,900?
Yeah.
You just answered your own question.
32.
No nostalgia. None
It's
nostalgia. Continue on. I disagree with that vehemently.
Oh man,
Broncos.
Yeah,
I love Broncos.
I get it.
Of course, the Broncos are iconic of an era.
Yeah.
That we're coming up on very quickly.
Well, this is going to have the Camaro effect, where the first gens were so good looking and got so popular that their prices went through the roof, and everyone just looked next door at the second gen and went, "All right, I think."
I don't like first gen Broncos. I'm gonna come out and say it.
Wow.
I know it's not popular in this room, but I don't like first gen Broncos. I like these Broncos, 87 and 91 Broncos. I like a 91 and 96 Bronco. How about that?
Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. I like a last gen Bronco.
Nothing wrong with that. No, my
They're
point
cheaper.
is the market likes the first gen Broncos to an obscene amount. When
know.
I saw a guy today driving what looked to be like an $80,000 pristine gray first gen Bronco coming out of like the tech sector over here. No dirt on the thing. He just drives around to look cool. Stupid.
Yeah, he definitely works.
That's why
at Yahoo.
That's why I sold mine. Because it was too fucking nice to do anything with. I had a 77.
And you make money?
I made a lot of money.
Tim made a lot of money. It's time you should. Maybe we should get another one. You don't have anywhere to keep it right now, do you?
Nor do I have enough money to get another one.
Oh, okay. I think these.
Let's open a car warehouse.
Is there any reason to not buy an 87 and 91 Bronco?
I can't speak to it. I mean, wasn't that the OJ car?
That's a 95, but it's the one after this, which is basically the same, but they had airbags. That's pretty much the only difference.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's kind of like the whole Mark Cross, LeBaron, hipsterish, like hot like old, cool. I don't know what it is.
Have you noticed people started talking about LeBarons again? I've seen an uptick in LeBaron discussion.
Car I learned how to drive on that. That's so I hate the LeBaron, but I think it's funny because how bad it is.
Dude,
Such
the
a bad car.
blinker. So it has the weirdest blinker
Oh yeah,
of any car
the
ever.
pod on the top.
The blinker isn't on a stalk on the steering column. It's on the fucking binnacle. Like you have to reach around the binnacle. Can you get a picture up, Tim, real quick of a Chrysler LeBaron
Hopefully it's
dashboard?
teal.
My uncle, I shit you not, had a LeBaron coupe, the hard top.
Oh, that's
It's like the only one I ever saw. No, that's the first gen. Second gen is going to be.
Oh, I can kind of see it.
No,
No,
that's the right dash, but we need to zoom out a little more so you can see the left where the blinker is.
What about the red one? Can you see it on the side? I can't see it.
This bit stinks. Just trust me, it's there. But this bit's not the squared off dash, the 90s dash.
Search 1991.
Give me
There you go. No.
Is that it?
Fuck, no. God damn it. Whatever. Who cares? Trust me.
It's garbage.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was terrible. No, this is not working.
Top,
Bail.
top left.
Bail.
Pink LeBaron interior. Wow.
Bail. There couldn't possibly be, even in an ironic sense, a nostalgia for LeBarons.
It's because these cars are so bad. I get that. It's like all the Plymouth, like the Plymouth Sundance, which I had as a kid. I mean,
You had a
just,
Sundance?
Yeah, I did. It was like one of my first junk. You know, they're just garbage but it's so bad that it's good.
When I was a kid, my parents had a Mercury Lynx,
oh man,
which was the Mercury version of the Escort, I think, before they called it the Topaz.
Oh,
Some
man.
shit! It was
it's like the Tempo, Topaz, all those.
Yeah,
junks.
it was not good. Not good. What else we got, Tim? What's number 3? Fuck me. I love the 93 to 95 SVT Lightning. It is such a piece of shit, but I love it anyway.
I never drove it.
I don't care for that at all.
It has a 351 in it that makes like 240 horsepower. It's a fucking terrible hunk of shit, but
They found
I like
those
the
engines in
red
a
grill.
warehouse. You like the red grill?
I like the red grill. And I like the Lightning badge. You know, fucking Lady Gaga rolls one of these.
No way.
I swear to God, dude, Lady Gaga got her license like 2 years ago. 'Cause she was like a New York chick.
Yeah.
Got her license like 2 years ago. And the guy who works on my car works on her cars. And she literally went on like a drunk eBay car buying spree and bought all this shit that I guess like her dad used to be into or whatever. So she bought a Lightning. She bought an El Camino on airbags.
What?
She bought a fucking Nova, and then she bought a Lamborghini. Like she just like went fucking wild. And apparently she has no garage. She lives in Malibu with no garage. So her fucking El Camino like was at Anthony's shop, and the whole car was pitted. The whole car. Like it had been parked for like a month next to the ocean. And it was the whole
it
fucking
just disintegrated?
thing. Yeah, the whole body was just fucking turning to ash.
Whoa.
So crazy. The second gen Lightnings are pretty cool. The round Lightnings with the superchargers,
I'm
like
okay with that with the blower.
those are
I just
pretty
think
awesome.
This is like truck's ugliest era.
It's horrible.
Truck's ugliest era.
It needs a spoiler though. That's the one thing it's missing.
We saw at the beach yesterday like a 2006 F-150 with the flare side that they made for like a year.
Yeah.
And then it had a cap on the bed with a big spoiler on the cap. It was so cholo.
Amazing.
That's a nice arrow.
What if you put the spoiler on the cab?
Down
Yeah.
for
Right on the cab.
Yeah,
like
that'd
a
be
semi, like a semi truck style.
Was a truck in Kill Bill Pussy Wagon, and it had like the super spoiler that just went over the bed. It was amazing.
Fucking Quentin Tarantino owns that truck.
Really?
Yeah. Someone found a fucking Google Images, Google Earth of his house, and the fucking thing is parked in his driveway.
God.
What else we got, Tim? What's the score of the Lightnings? Are they on their way up? What is the score?
79.
Oh, Lightnings are on their way up. What's the median condition there?
$9 grand. $9 grand.
9 G's?
Yeah.
You know what, dude? They're better built than those C10s people buy, and people love C10s. All right, silence. Cool. Next.
You're right. I
would
think
buy
this
the
is
C10.
Ugly and slow, and who cares?
Between the two.
Tim, I'm sorry we've kept you 10 minutes over.
No.
I apologize.
Cool.
You cool?
No, yeah.
All right.
How about I duck out and
I can.
Zach,
all right,
Zach
cool.
All I have to do is hit.
Sorry
unspeed.
for the rudeness.
Very easy.
You're so rude, Tim.
So rude.
We gotta finish. We're gonna finish a show, but Tim has to go do important things with important people that are more important than us. No. But thanks for your time, buddy.
More important than you.
Oh, that's yours. Yeah, it's okay. You take it. Zach, scroll us down a little bit.
Thanks for staying.
You want to take a donut for the road, Tim? Fuck yeah, you do. I know you want a donut.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Oh man, here's another car I never think will go up in value. 2000 to a 2006 Jag XKR.
Where do they get this list from?
I don't know.
Horrible spreadsheet.
No, well they have the insurance data. They have their whole database of insurance, so they know with what the values are for the insurances.
That's crazy.
Right?
This is stuff that is in the junkyard by me. There's no way you're gonna find one of these in any condition that you would.
I wish we got the hard numbers because like the LeBaron, like we were talking about, it'd be funny if someone in the office like, we got 7 insurance applications for LeBarons this year. Last year was only 4, and someone's like, I got to send that to the guy that writes the list.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
It could be, but like. Oh man, is it generational where it's like, man, I don't see these coming back up ever, but like someone's going to find this cool ironically in 10 years.
What generation will ever like that car?
I mean,
honestly. I mean, somebody might have had it as a lease on accident.
People are doing shit to Volvo 240s that were like the least cool thing ever for a long time.
I guess.
It happens, right? Well, you want to cringe? Scroll down fucking one more.
Nope.
Chevy
Oh,
SSR, bro.
No, this is like...
I hate these things so much.
This is PT Cruiser, Prowler, HHR levels of just...
But it's got an LS, bro.
I don't care. Oh, so all right, so you're buying a $21,000 LS engine. That's
Yeah.
and you just take it out.
God, I would own these as a joke and just drive it and just blow it up.
You know,
just
it'd be
for
fun. Spec SSR. Racing.
That'd be way too much money to spend on. It's so ugly and so stupid. I mean, this was people just taking nostalgia all the way.
Dude,
right?
yeah, you know what? You
far.
say that, but they've never gone below 20 G's. In 15 fucking years, these things
That's because they sold like 3 of them.
Does it scroll down?
What's next? The
Does it say on the
Thunderbird?
thing how many they... No, this is the last one.
Okay.
Thank God. We're going to pull the ripcord pretty soon on these ugly
It doesn't
cars.
have the number, but...
Whatever. You want to find it for us? Production numbers? It's a terrible car. I hate everything about it.
Wow, typing error. I'm typing like Tim.
Huh? Yeah.
I'm typing like Tim.
Tim's not good at Googling. He's a slow Googler. How many did they build?
I don't know. Talk amongst yourselves while I
amongst
find
ourselves. We're gonna end the show. Actually, that's what we're gonna do. What do you want to plug while Zach's finding the number to finish it off?
If you want to watch videos that I make, it's savagegeese.com. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
savagegeese.com.
Check it out. If you don't like it, no hurt feelings.
How many did they make, Zach?
Analysts estimate that 24,150 SSRs were produced in total.
That's a bunch.
And apparently they kept 38 of them for museums. Or pre-pro. But they sold less than they were expecting. They sold less than 9 the first year. And
huge surprise.
Yeah. Just they pushed it way too far.
Yep. Yeah. Dude, thank you for coming in, Mark. I appreciate it. It's been good fun.
I really appreciate it taking me around and everything, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me out.
My
for
pleasure.
This.
We're gonna go to Kogi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach, do you want to join us? He wanted to know like true Los Angeles cuisine, so I said we have to go to Kogi.
Which one?
The one here.
All of them.
No, not the
Alpha A bar, whatever it's called, A-frame. No.
The actual Kogi restaurant.
Oh, okay.
They turned a Kogi truck into a restaurant, and it's like right there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I will go.
You will join.
Yeah.
You will join, sir. We'll take 3 cars, just like you do in L.A.
I got an Altima with a CVT if you want to experience.
Bro, that's fucking shitty. No, we'll leave that here. We'll take my car. Cool, man. That's awesome. SavageGeese.com. That's it, huh?
Yeah. Go to the YouTube channel, watch the videos. I appreciate it.
Thank you, live folks. I appreciate all of you, especially those of you who donated, and who we didn't get to. Next time, I promise, we'll do better on that one. But the goal with the Super Chat is eventually, hopefully, possibly, to replace ads. And if we can get there, we are not there now. But if we can get there, that would be fucking awesome. So thank you to everybody who's being involved in that. And follow along on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook for when we do live broadcasts so you can know. And get fucking down on it. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
That's how you're going to close it.
That's how I'm just going to close it. We're just going to end the show there. Thanks, folks. I'll see you later. Good day.